Around the station here, he was known as Bob. He had several different jobs in his time at First Coast News, but most frequently could be found running the audio for the evening newscasts. Which is why when the news came in that he was the victim of a murder, there was shock. Why would somebody kill him? And who did it? Those are questions that investigators are still trying to answer. Within the walls of the control room, close friendships were made. Sam Wells worked with Bob Levey for many years at FCN and says Bob had a spark that kept people on their toes.
His famous saying was, "Never had a bad day, always." And I don't think he did. He just was a very happy-go-lucky person.
Which is why the events of June 25th, 2013 have never made sense to those who knew Bob. It was around 11 o'clock at night. Neighbors spotted fire coming from Bob's home on Mimosa Drive and called 911. When Jacksonville Fire Rescue arrived, they went into the home and found Bob on the kitchen floor with severe injuries. The medical examiner ruled he died of blunt force trauma. But the fire wasn't all that neighbors saw.
Actually, the residents of that neighborhood saw someone at the house with a can of gasoline, and they were running away or walking quickly away from the scene initially.
Detective Ray Reeves with the cold case unit at JSO says residents ran after the suspect. Even one person jumped into a truck to chase him, but then the suspect threatened them.
At one point, that suspect said that he had a firearm, a gun, and rightfully so, the neighbors stopped pursuing him, somebody with a gun, waited for the police to get there, and gave the description to the police officers.
The description was a white male around 5'6" to 5'8", in his late teens or early 20s, between 130 to 150 pounds, with shoulder-length brown hair, and he may have been injured at the time from starting the fire. Detective Reeves says none of the neighbors recognized the suspect, and right now there is no clear motive for the killing. It doesn't appear anything was stolen, and Bob was well liked by his neighbors. Sam says Bob would go out of his way to help kids in the area.
And he would go and pick up used toys, broken toys at the flea market for next to nothing, and then he would take them home, paint them, repair them, and then give them to the neighborhood kids for birthdays, Christmas. He did it because it needed to be done, and he didn't want recognition.
Now technology may help crack this case. Detective Reeves says evidence was preserved, and just this week, they have resubmitted pieces of evidence to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for new DNA testing. He also wants to hear, though, from anyone in the community who may have information in this murder, even if they feel it is something small.
And it's happened in the past where it's just broken a case wide open and brought resolution and closure.
All in a hope to find justice for Bob, a man who humbly spent his time helping others.
He did so much good for his neighborhood in retirement, and I just hate to see this go unsolved.
If you know anything about the murder of Bob Levey, please contact the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office or Crime Stoppers. Katie Jeffries, First Coast News, on your side.
And the Levey family did release a statement saying that this June 25th will be the 8th anniversary of the murder of Bob Levey. He is dearly missed by his family and friends. We remain grateful for our caring community, the JSO, and their efforts to solve this case, the ongoing care and helpfulness of Project Cold Case, and our local television stations for presenting this information. We are hopeful that someone will come forward with information that will help solve this case.
There's also a reward of $6,000 through Crime Stoppers for information in this case.